Hello, everyone. I'm your host Shashi with you all on Global Women Dialogue Talk Show to create more voice for women and by women. And today's our guest is someone who is from Connecticut. She's joining us from Connecticut. And when I'm saying someone, she's from that field which is male dominated. And often we hear from that field, women are not so much into that field. They have not associated with that field. But here we have live example, real example, who is flourishing, who is having years of experience. Samary, she is an entrepreneur. She is having her own business in real estate investing, and she is a realtor. The company called Samary Augusto Polnet, and she is along with that she's having her non-profit is called Beauty Is You, as she's doing business in real estate as an investor, as a realtor, along all the way in US and in her own place in Connecticut as well. So let's hear from us how she reached on this journey, on this platform that she decided to work in this field, what she is making impact in the community, how she is creating impact in the community through her work, what special she is having with us by maybe sharing some journey of her work, about her life, about her successful client story. So let's welcome our today's speaker, Samary from Connecticut. Welcome, Samary, on our Women Dialogue Global Talk Show.
Thank thank you. I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Samari, for joining us. And as I know you are very busy, you're with your clients, with your work, but taking out time from your work is really important, and we really appreciate your effort for that. So let's jump right away about knowing a Samari. Who is she, and how Samari we should define?
That's a fun question. No. So I am Samary, I am a wife, I am a mom, and I am an entrepreneur in every sense of the word. I just love the aspect of business and just love being able to just generate income on my own and be able to have like all these ideas and just put them into effect. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. Like family, faith and finances, that's really important to me. So the type of work that I do aligns with all of it. And I'm grateful and thankful every day to be able to do it.
Right. So, Samari, as you define yourself in very beautiful three F's: family, faith, and finance. And I think it's very important for each of female when we are talking. I'm adding one more F as a female. So when we are talking these finance and family and faith, how you balance, how you manage, because when we are talking about it, especially is a field that you are having your business in real estate, which is very time consuming, very demanding, and very male dominated. How you make it your time, your finance, and your family, and as a female.
So honestly, I always say like it's divine intervention. Like I'm big on my faith. So I'm like, God has been putting me through like, every day and keeps me focused and determined to do what I want to do. Like the goals that I have set in, they are given to me for a reason, to each and every one of us, right? That's what drives us. And then as far as, balance goes, it's really like it's knowing that everything is not going to be the same every day, right? So you're not going to be running around and being like the greatest wife and mom all the time, and you're not always going to be like running your business all the time, but it's knowing like what is going to require your attention and balancing that part. That is the true balance. Like, okay, today, I need to focus, like the kids are starting school or the kids are doing this, so that's where gonna be my main focus on. Of course, like you have your everyday like routines, whether it's like breakfast, lunch, dinner, like doing whatever it is in between. But some days, like certain areas of your life are going to require more time and energy than others. And like ultimately, because I am in business for myself, my business is part of my day every day, even when like we want to disconnect. A lot of the times it's hard to fully disconnect. So it's finding like those times to like be able to like fully like give my attention to whatever it is that I need my attention to be set at that point in time. So if my business is requiring my attention and I need to handle that, then I have things in place that can help with the kids. I have 4 kids, so it is a little crazy sometimes, and I want to make sure like, you know, they're okay, they're taken care of, and like someone is with them, watching them, whatever that is, and then I could handle my business. And then also like this is a really great time to be in business with, unfortunately, like, you know, with COVID, it has caused so many of us to be working from home even more, like, and it's forced us, right? To like, so more and more people are understanding of like family life, right? So they're understanding that
Yeah.
even though you're in like in a professional setting, you might sometimes have to like, you know, you might, your kids might be in the background, and that's not, you know, they can't fully help it. Like, so I think that that has been a blessing in disguise, you know, like being able to break through that and not saying like, okay, you know, yes, I'm in my business. This is what I do. This is what I run. But also like the fact that like, um, there's grace for like all of us who are working from home, who have our kids at home a lot of the time, and who will need to like juggle that, those aspects of what we're doing.
Mhm. Yeah. So, Samari, when you're bringing such important aspect like how you're managing and your management skills of your family, your children, and your work, and all the way you are thriving in all the factors as a as a mom, as a family person, as a businesswoman. So, let's start talking about your starting of your own business. How it all started. Is it from your beginning, or have you decided that okay, that is something I need to get into more?
So it's an interesting story, and I'll tell you why. Because so my husband has been in real estate for much longer than I have. Like even before we have met and we're together, he has been on the side of being a landlord and having rental properties. And when we met and got married and all of that, I didn't want nothing to do with real estate. I did, that was not like my, that wasn't my passion then. And what I went to school for was psychology. So I went to school to be a counselor. I was doing psychotherapy, practicing, and I was working one-on-one with families and children. Now, um, fast forward to almost 4 years ago, and we were unexpectedly expecting twins. So it was a blessing, but also like, oh my gosh, like what are we gonna do? Because we went from a family of 4 to a family of 6, you know. So it was like chaos and adjusting very quickly. But we knew really quickly that me going back to work was not really an option because childcare was really expensive, and it just still
Mhm.
is, you know, and it's more expensive when you have 2 kids in childcare
Mhm.
full time. So that made the decision of me staying at home. Now I can't sit still. I'm not one person that can just stay home and not do like, you know, just be like a housewife. And like I love people who can, because I can't do it. And I'm like, ah, I have to find something to do. Like, what am I doing? Um, so my husband always wanted to expand on his real estate business. So I said to him, you know, like, let me help you, because right now I'm home and I'm able to like I have more free time, right?
Mhm.
Like my flexibility and my schedule. So let me help you grow your business. So initially I went into the real estate business with him to help him grow his business. But about 6 months into that, I really fell in love. I fell in love with the different aspects of real estate and being able to do different things. Because in real estate, we think of like, okay, you're in real estate, so what do you do? Are you a realtor? Are you a landlord flipper? But there's like so many different ways that you can invest and that you can generate income with real estate. So that was the part that really was very attractive to me and that really excited me and wanted me to like keep going. Like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. And then I just took off and I told him, you know, like, this is no longer your business, it is our business. And I always say that because it's true, like it's not anymore, you know, like that motivation. I needed him to bring it back to me, and then it launched my own motivation to expand my own business and like really launch it and do it.
Right. So when we are talking about from changing the business and then launching and again developing in your own way, new business, new field, what kind of challenges you find? As you mentioned, definitely having two twins and very young kids along with two other. And there are a lot of tasks, a lot of responsibility we need to handle. But along with that, when you have a desire to grow in your professional life, how you manage, what kind of challenges you had, and how you overcome those.
So time management, I will always say like is a challenge, right? Because and how to allocate your time, right? Like, oh, I want to go take a nap, but my business requires my attention. So I'm gonna postpone my nap and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go handle my business because right now, like that's what's gonna make my business grow, right? Like the more that I do. So setting priorities on like a daily basis, and it is difficult sometimes when you're not, like when you're starting any business, not just real estate. It takes a while to get started, right? To like get your feet on the ground and like start seeing like the revenue and like making like positive strides. You just have to keep going at it and not give up, because you're not always going to generate income like from the beginning, right? You're not going to be like, oh my gosh, like I'm making like X amount of dollars and I'm cash flowing like immediately. So that helped me a lot stay grounded, because there's days, that are hard. There's more challenging days that sometimes I'm like, okay, I don't want to do that. I want to do something else. I just want to sit home and do nothing, right? Some days. But ultimately I'm like, okay, no, I have goals, and I have like, and the goals are not going to accomplish themselves until like I do the work, right? There's no magic wand. There's no like way, that they're gonna happen until you have to do the work too. And I'm big on like mindset and manifesting, and I know that you can manifest what you want in your life as long as you really believe it and you are working towards it. So you're taking strides every day, and that's the key to manifestation. It's not like boom, like all of a sudden this great thing is gonna pop up out of nowhere, like the genie in a bottle. But it's gonna be like, okay, this is my true desires and what I want in my heart, and this is what I'm going to do every day to achieve that, to go
Right.
towards those goals. And even if it didn't happen the next day, I know that it's going to happen. So I'm gonna
Right.
continue to work on it until it fully manifests into my life. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
So
my
here, Samari, you really brought very strong point, having keep yourself in a positive mode, even though we know these ups and downs, and especially when you are establishing new business in new field, being a female, it's definitely challenging all the way in maybe additional few more challenges. Uh, Whereas many times we see female, they start, they give up, and almost even not female in general, they're 50% business, they start and they give up and they drop within 1 year. uh, but I think you are doing more than 4 year continuously. What was the strong positive point you was carrying in you, which our audience can receive or can get inspired from that?
so honestly, I wanted freedom, right? And I wanted to help my family grow. So I wanted to be able to contribute to our family, right? And show like that we don't give up, right? We don't give up when things are rough and hard. And like it might be a setback, but and I have four, like I said, my four boys, they're still looking at, their mom. They know like, I'm in business, and they look up to that, and that's an example for them to keep going all the time. So my family is very important for me, like I feel like the purpose that I have in life is to really like help others do the same thing, right? Like, so whether it's with real estate or in other aspects of their life, I've always been in service mindset, like giving to others and being like to be able to be a resource. So that was my motivation. That, I always encourage people to find your motivation. What's your why? Because your why is what's going to keep you going every single day, and it's what's going to bring you back on those days that you want to quit, that you don't want to do anything, because there are days that you are going to like pow and like and just be like, I don't want to do this, let me just go find a job that would just go to work, and like somebody just pays me and that's it, I leave the job there, right? But when you're in business for yourself, you don't leave the job there, right? The problems are your problems. Like you have to be able to solve them and problem solve with your team or whoever, you know, you're working with, um, to make that happen. So my motivation is what has really kept me going and my why. So I always,
Mhm.
like I said, always encourage everyone to like really do some soul searching to your why. You know, where are you starting? I don't care what it is, what business you're going into, like whatever task you want to do in your life, you know, those goals that you want to achieve, go
Yeah,
back to your why. And if your why is strong enough, you're going to keep going. You know, you're going to like not give up. Like you're gonna keep
right.
coming back every day, even if you're like feeling like you're getting knocked out in that ring, right? You're
Mhm.
like, I'm coming back. I'm coming back.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, and I think that's very strong point. Like knowing your why and can then you can stick with it, and then you can go along with that in long term to grow and develop. And when we're talking about finding why, but same time starting new field as a you know, who is having different background, what kind of feedback as you found while dealing with customers or maybe dealing with the people, uh, was it hard to convince them, was it difficult to make them, or it was more judgmental on your capabilities? How was the experience? Because many times it's very anxious point when somebody is starting all the way different field.
So I think like for me, right, it's more about when you believe in yourself, like that comes off, right? It comes off on the way that you carry yourself and that you're carrying like conversations or that you enter a room. And I didn't leave room for doubt, right? I'm a very assertive person when it comes to like I know this is what I wanted to do. And even if there was a doubt in my mind, I would not let that come through. Like I will not let someone like sense that on me because that is like a place of vulnerability. And it's okay to be vulnerable, but it's okay to be vulnerable with yourself, not like always when you're out here trying to like do your business and want to be taken seriously, right? Like you can
Mhm.
second guess yourself, you can have like other conversations, but that's more of like you and yourself and working that out with yourself and if you have your partners, you know, whatever that might be. But for me, it was really important to always come off, you know, like this is what I'm doing, this is my business, you know, I'm taking ownership in this, like in what I'm doing, and I'm not letting anyone like make me feel that I do not belong here. um
Mhm.
because people will make you feel that way, right? Like people who have been in business for a long time are like, what do you know? Like you're a woman, you know, like whatever, or
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah,
oh, you're much younger
yeah.
than other people, you know, like et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, age has nothing to do with that, you know, like the way that, you know, whether I'm a woman or man or whatever I am, you like that has nothing to do with my capabilities of performing and what I'm here to do, like my job. So my job and my
Mhm.
business and the role. So I always didn't I always go, I don't leave room for that. Like there's no room for that conversation to even open or for their thoughts to even be around because I'm very quick to dismiss that and like to address that very fast.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think those are very strong point how one can deal with their business and when they are feeling themselves uh, being in the market. As you said, people definitely question you. People try to bring a lot of question on your existence in terms of business specialization. Those are really strong points how one can deal. Moving ahead, you are founder of your organization as a non-profit organization as well. Would you like to share about it?
I would love to. That's my other baby. um so like I told you before real estate, I used to be in therapy. Like that was my field. I was a psychotherapist and I worked in a school for many years as a school counselor. And the role, you know, as a school counselor, you do meet with your students. You are basically being like, you know, the helping them with their emotional needs that are going on an everyday basis, you know, especially when you're in middle school. So um, it was a great job that I had. And at the same time, I saw there was a pattern with a lot of the girls that I would meet with. And a lot of it was, you know, they were having a really hard time finding confidence in themselves and being able to assimilate with others in their community, right? Like finding women who were doing like great things in the community, and not just people that were on TV, or people in magazines that they couldn't really talk to all the time on social media, right? Um, there's a lot of empowering women out there, but sometimes you can't connect with them because they're like superstars, right? You can't just like call them or like send them a text or an email and like meet with them. So my goal with Beauty is You was to empower women and girls in the community with their own community resources, right? So I wanted to bring everyone together and be able to like see like, hey, there's so many women in the community that are doing amazing things and that they're confident and that they are excelling and they are determined to, do like more for the world and for their community in general. But you might not know about them because they're not in social media like the other ones are, like, big superstars, etc. So I really wanted to bring all of that together and have like people meet like other people that were doing a lot of things and be empowered by that, and be encouraged to do what they wanted to do, follow their dreams, their goals in their life, and know that other people similar to them that have grown up in their similar neighborhoods were also doing the same thing, that wanted to do that. So that's all what like Beauty is You is about. Being confident not only like in the outside but on the inside. And we all know like the beauty starts from the inside first, right? So like we bring our beauty out. It's not just an outer thing, like, not just the pretty face, etc., etc. It's like we do the work inside, we communicate, we connect, and we make those connections with those around us.
Mhm. Yeah, and when we are talking all about empowerment, confidence, and especially as you said, especially in girls and especially in women, uh, you are having in your family the children. How you are giving the same kind of empowerment in their life? How you are feeling like yes, it is something I'm giving them.
Yes. So every day, honestly, like we do a lot of things. Like I said, my business and everything, my nonprofit, I ran from my house a lot of the time. So I am living, breathing example of how to stay like motivated and giving them that confidence every day. Like
Mm-hmm.
I have all boys. I don't have any girls, so it's really funny because like I have the boys side of things, but I teach them, a lot about just believing in themselves and being confident in who they are and knowing that they can achieve like whatever that they want to, right? Like life
All
is
right.
about being able to feel like your purpose and feel like what you're doing is great and finding that alignment, right? So every single day we work towards that. Every single day I work to be an example of that,
Mhm.
and to teach them that as just not only like teaching like school teaching but just by my actions, what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, and they see it, especially like this last year and a half with the pandemic. They've been here like side by side with me, like seeing how I've started fully like full-time my business, how like I've been doing a lot of stuff. When I used to do events for the nonprofit, we used to do a lot more community events before COVID happened. So I would bring them, I would bring them even if it was like an all-girl event so they could like be there part of the setup and they know like what's going on, and they
Right.
would be able to appreciate that, like that there's so much learning in that and like so much experience that
Right.
I am thankful to be able to give them that.
Mhm. And when we are talking about giving impact in your own personal level of in your kids, along with that, you are giving impact in community as well. Would you like to share maybe some story or something where you found, yes, maybe in your real estate business or maybe in your nonprofit where you created such impactful work for someone's life?
um so I like to be humble. No, I don't like to always share everything, but I know that there's like, I know that whether it's the nonprofit side or even in the real estate business, when I'm empowering women to like learn how to invest in real estate, how to get started and create their own business in the real estate world. I am constantly getting, messages and reinforcements, phone calls, and whenever I'm meeting with them, right? A lot of times we get categorized in this role. So they like to see and know that other moms are able to do this, and then they still have their kids with them. Like, I don't have to, my kids are with me all the, like, a lot of the time when I'm conducting business.
Mhm.
So I think that's the most inspiring part for a lot of women that I've encountered and that I work with, and that they feel that they can connect with me, right? Because I am a mom, I am a wife. I know what it is, like I'm a woman that, like we have all these other things that we also worry about, right? Like all these other factors that we deal with and that we have to struggle with. So it's an ongoing, like, positive reinforcement for them, and like just being able to give importance to other women or, children in the community, whoever I'm working with at that time. um I know that it does make an impact, and I know that it is something that, even if it's a little bit every day, that it helps someone grow and like helps them flourish and be able to like achieve greater things in their life.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And when we are talking about impact, it means something, and somewhere you have your own way to create this leadership style. How you define your leadership style?
It's interesting because I don't always see myself as a leader. I like to be able to be more of like, I like to be able to be approachable, right? Sometimes when people see leaders, they're like, oh my gosh, like the leader, the person that like, very, um, they feel like it's not someone that they can relate with all the time at all levels, that they could talk with and have normal conversations with, right? Like they have great qualities. But I really try to make it as, like I am very relatable. I like to have conversations. I like to be able to lead from more of like examples and being like, I'm an example of this. And like I, even growing up, I've had like a rough childhood. It wasn't always like the greatest of everything, but overcoming that has also given me like the leadership, right? Because now I've been able to share that with anyone who I encounter and tell them, like, even if you're going through a rough patch in your life, like there's a better side to that. You can choose to do better. You can choose to make better choices in your life. And that's where like my strengths come in, right? Like I can be able to be relatable, be able to be an example, and be able to like give them that, feedback that I have experienced myself, and that now they can, do something else, that they can create their own business, that they can be a mom and still run like their full-time real estate business. That's what
Yeah,
I like.
yeah, definitely. That's very beautiful way to create your leadership style in your own unique way. And when we talk about all these things, empowering, from very early age, girl, women, and all, how you see having a platform like this, a global women dialogue talk show, is important and needed.
Oh my gosh, it is so important, Anita. Like we need to know that there's other women, just like my nonprofit, right? That there's other women in the community and different parts of the world and wherever that might be, that are doing like great things, right? Like that are being positive role models in like their own way, and that we can connect with them, and that they're relatable, that we can like, have conversations with, that it's not, something that it's not attainable or achievable for all of us. We can do this too. They have come from a similar background than I have. They have had an experience like I have. They're going through something that I've gone through too, so I can do this. I like it's sometimes when we're in a certain state of mind, we don't believe that we can achieve it, right? Because we don't see it. We don't see that other side. But knowing that, like having this platform like this, connecting women, showing other women that this is doable, whatever it is that they're doing, and being inspired, empowered, and motivated by them. It's such like a blessing, like to be able to connect that way.
Mhm. Yeah, that's true. And thank you. Thanks a lot. And I'm happy to share we have crossed almost 64 countries, women who have come on this platform so far. And we have recorded more than 110 episodes. So
Wow.
we are very proud of bringing all these women from different part of the world, sharing their work, their challenges, their knowledge, their ups and their downs, and creating a movement, inspiring each time listeners, our audience, how they can make their life better, how they can overcome those challenges. And in the same way, I'm so thankful to you to join us today and share your journey with us to inspire and motivate our, including myself, our audience, and our listeners who are listening and who are. I hope they are getting their own inspiration and motivation by listening your life journey and your work. So thank you, Samary, for sharing
Thank
your journey.
you. Thank you so much for having me and for inviting me to be here.
Thanks to all our audience who are listening and watching us. As I already mentioned, and I always say, we are here to grow together, to develop together. And in the same way, we are here having our all speakers from different field, different part of the world. They are coming and joining us, creating this women voice to make you understand, to make you learn, to share their knowledge, experiences, and wisdom. So get benefit from that. And if you feel you want to get connect more in detail, maybe for your work or any kind of other further occupation related knowledge or something, we put their description in in our description as well, so you can get connect with them. And if you have any further query and question, you can put in comment as well. So please do that, and we are feel free to do that, because we would like to hear from you what kind of things you are getting in your life, where it is you are creating, you want to grow and you are feeling stuck. So with this note, I just would like to say thanks to all our viewers who are listening and watching us. And yes, please share and subscribe and like. And I will come with next episode with one more new speaker for the same purpose, inspiring and motivating in your life to grow together, to develop together. Thank you. Bye bye.